Welcome back to Twisted Tales Fact or Fiction. I'm Mercy Desdemona, and I will be joined in this episode by our good friend Dark Mage 4 Productions. We each have a twisted tale for you this evening. Now, before we get into the tales, if you are the weird kid grown weird adult and you like all things horror, true crime, and weird, consider becoming a member of the Spooky Fam and hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to give us a like. All other links, including over to Dark Mage 4 Productions, are down in the description box below. Be sure to follow us on Twitch to be a part of our upcoming live stream, August 25th at 8:30 p.m. We are having a movie night. Now, let's get into tonight's tales. For my tale in this episode, I choose one that I actually got to see the site of when I took the boat tour. So this is the Lady of the Lake in Lake Placid, New York. Now, the one with this one is obviously it is also a true crime. However, a lot of lore kind of came out of it as well, considering how old everything was. So, of course, things got a little weird and muddied and stuff like that. So, who was the Lady of the Lake? Meet Mabel. She was an educator and the first dean of a women's college in New Jersey. She was up at a camp, and she was with her family and decided, hey, I want to go out on a row on the lake, which is not unheard of. A lot of people still do that today. And unfortunately, she was never seen or heard of again after her disappearance on September 21st, 1933. Now, we fast forward to the 1960s. I believe it was September 15th, 1963. Her body was found at the bottom of the lake. Now, what happened was these guys found like a guidebook or something from my research, and they saw it on the rocks, and they were like, this is kind of weird. So they decided to go down into the lake, and they dove 105 feet to the bottom and saw what they thought was a mannequin because of how her body was preserved. So they thought it was a practical joke, they were laughing it off, whatever. So one of them went to grab the arm of the mannequin to pull it to the surface, and lo and behold, they ended up taking Mabel's arm off. And that is when they realized that, oh, wow, this is actually indeed a human being preserved by the cold temperatures of the water. Now, this is where it gets a little weird, and I have found several different accounts in the research, but I'm just going to put the most popular one here. Because of the chemical makeup of the water plus the conditions, they said that this caused her to slowly turn into a soap and cause the waxy mannequin look of Mabel's body. She was found on her right side, and she was still in the diving position, so it looked like she had just dove off into the water. And they also noted that there was a rope with an anchor attached to it around her neck. Now, the soap thing is where these weird lores have come on. I've seen so many of them. They're like, oh, yeah, it's the lady that turned into a bar of soap, or she's haunting the area. You can hear her singing or screaming or something like that. A lot of it started coming about. I don't really think you got turned into a soap, but, One of the divers went to get rope to mark so investigators can do their job properly, and one stayed with the body. And the one with the body said that she was so preserved it looked like she could wake up at any moment. So he decided, hey, let's bring Mabel to the surface. Well, this is where it can get horrifying, and if you have a queasy stomach and a vivid imagination, I don't suggest paying attention. But as he did this, her face began to disintegrate in front of his eyes. Her hand, arm, and head fell off. And basically, by the time she got to the funeral home, I'm going to quote the article here because I feel like this describes it the best, resembled little more than a sculptor's rough clay form of an unfinished human statue. Yikes. I couldn't imagine having to be there in person to see that. Unfortunately, Mabel's story is sort of dark. Upon investigating the situation, it was pretty cut and dry. They could tell that, yes, this is in fact Mabel. She's the only one that disappeared at the time and wasn't found. They all put two and two together. So she's properly identified, and they also found out that her husband had passed and her son had unfortunately took his life. And because of that, Mabel was a little bit unstable mentally. So when she was at the camp About a year or so before she went there with her daughter, she was in fact in a mental institution dealing with mental stress. She was having trouble in her professional life, just not having a good time. So, they ruled it a suicide, unfortunately. Now, there is a little bit of speculation that, or a little argument that the boat that she used was not good for beginners. So there are people that think that it was an accident where she fell off the boat and unfortunately got entangled in the rope and the anchor. But a lot of people are skeptical of that. I don't know if they're just skeptical of it because it's a less juicy tale to tell when you're on a boat tour. I don't know. But there were many things that I researched on the depths of the internet where like others were mentioning how they thought the whole family was cursed because a year after Mabel's disappearance, her own daughter, ended her life, unfortunately. A lot of people believe the soap thing. They say that you could feel her presence. I personally didn't feel any presence when I was there. It could have been because I was hungry and thinking about french fries most of the time. But, I mean, it is sort of a dark and somber tale. As for me, I know Mabel was a real person, and unfortunately she lost her life. So, with that, despite the legends and lores of her being a spirit haunting the lake or turning into the soap woman, I hope her and her family are resting in peace. Now, over to our friend Dark Mage for production for tale number 2. He will take it from here.
Hello, Spooky Fam. I'm glad to be back in another episode of Twisted Tales Fact or Fiction. In today's episode, I will be talking about the Bridgewater Triangle, which is an area in the southeastern Massachusetts in the United States, known for its high concentration of paranormal phenomena and unexplained events, spanning roughly 200 square miles. The Bridgewater Triangle has attracted the attention of researchers, paranormal enthusiasts, and curious visitors alike. The Bridgewater Triangle encompasses a region that roughly forms a triangle with its points marked by the towns of Abington, Rehoboth, and Freetown. The area is characterized by dense forests, swamps, and wetlands, creating an eerie and secluded atmosphere. Its proximity to the Hockomock Swamp, known as the place where spirits dwell, indigenous Wampanoag tribe, adds to its mystique. The Bridgewater Triangle is notorious for a wide range of paranormal phenomena. Reports include sightings of UFOs, Bigfoot-like creatures known as the Pukwudgies, ghostly apparitions, and mysterious orbs of light, and unexplained animal mutilations. Many individuals claim to have experienced strange sensations, electronic malfunctions such as cameras going dead and lights turning off, and phones just not working at all, and feelings of unease while visiting the area. The region holds historical significance with tales of Native American curses, colonial-era conflicts, and paranormal legends intertwined. It is said that the Wampanoag people cursed the land, leading to strange happenings experienced by settlers, subsequent generations, and the area is also associated with the notorious King Philip's War, a violent conflict between Native Americans and English colonists in the late 17th century. Within the Bridgewater Triangle, certain locations have gained notoriety for their high concentration of paranormal activity. The Hockomock Swamp, Anawan Rock, and the Freetown Fall River State Forest are among the most well-known sites. These areas have drawn investigators and thrill seekers alike, hoping to witness or capture evidence of the unexplained. While many people in the paranormal nature of the Bridgewater Triangle, skeptics offer alternative explanations for the reported phenomena. They suggest that misinterpretations, natural phenomena, hoaxes, and psychological factors contribute to the perceived paranormal occurrences. Some argue that the allure of the Bridgewater Triangle is more rooted in folklore and urban legends than tangible evidence. The Bridgewater Triangle continues to attract researchers, paranormal investigators, and enthusiasts seeking to uncover the truth behind its mysteries. Originations conduct investigations, hold events, and document first-hand accounts to shed light on the phenomena experienced within the area. Despite the skeptics, the Bridgewater Triangle remains an enigmatic and captivating subject of the study of those interested in the unexplained. The Bridgewater Triangle is very interesting to me because there is just so much happening at once. There have been reported murders. There's been reported several other things going on as well. And nobody really wants to do anything about it. But people go there and get lost as well in the swamp because it's so big. And with things not tracking and working properly, GPS could also fail as well. It's been said that people see so many weird things happening, or like movement that they cannot explain, or noises that just sound so weird. People also being chased out by the Pukwudgies as well. It's such a crazy area that so many people just can't seem to stay away from it. And eventually I may want to go and check it out and investigate the area. I think that would be really cool. They have documentaries out and they have so many YouTube videos out as well about this. And it's crazy to watch and see about what could happen. And that's kind of why I chose this one, because it's very phenomenal, and I think everybody should check it out, to be honest, and read up on it. It's more fact that things are actually happening, and you're getting more and more phenomena with it, which is pretty crazy.